finally got in the first map, which would be Lijiang Tower.
Ooh, I love Lijiang.
What picks can we expect on a map like Lijiang?
Now, this is interesting. We might see Ruben's Pharah. I feel like Pharah might work on, say, Gardens, where if the enemy team does opt to maybe not run a sim and try and push over bridge, Pharah with that CC can get a ton of value. But again, I feel like Lijiang Tower gives you so many options to run that sim Mei. I highly doubt either team will opt to switch off from that comfort pick.
Yeah, and as well, it really depends on which round of the map that you start at. If you start at Garden, you couldn't expect to see Ruben's Pharah. But if you then start to, like, for example, what is the I can never remember those maps, sadly.
It's Gardens, Market, and Control Center? Yeah, Control Center.
Yeah, I think if you then start at Night Market, it's going to be an entirely different comp. It's going to be focused maybe as well around Ruben's Pharah, which is a great possibility, but it's going to be also focused a lot on, for example, balls to get those drops off of these bridges.
Yeah, but I feel like they might just stick with the Brawl again, because with that Sim TP, especially on on Night Market, you have that easy option to TP onto the high ground and then drop right onto point. But again, it's really going to depend on what the teams feel confident with and what the enemy is running. Because we might just see a straight up mirror comp. They might just go exactly what the enemy is running, or they might try and maybe play around some certain one singular player who has maybe a comfort pick or an extra pick that might surprise the enemy.
Yeah, and we see them starting at Night Market.
Yeah, again, your prediction coming out for potentially seeing Ruben's Pharah. I'm saying they're going to stick with their classic Brawl comp with the Sim Mei just to TP onto point. But again, we'll have to see.
And now we can finally look into the selected champion pools of both teams. We see Team ReVamp coming out with the Pharah on a name on which letter I can sadly not pronounce.
Sadly not.
But another pick that I'm really excited to see is Random's Lucio.
Again, Random on the Lucio might be fun. I'd love to see some boot plays. But yeah, I'm looking at ReVamp here, running a Sim, but they're also running a Pharah, but without a Mercy Pocket.
But exactly, this team of ReVamp is going for this boop comp that I was talking about. They're going for the memes, for the ball, for the Pharah. Sadly, they switched off of the Lucio now, but you just see Crimson Ruby pushing straight onto this point with the Symmetra TP. They're already trading blows. You see Team ReVamp being split a bit.
Yeah, but again, they might excel with that. Since they have so much high mobility, they can just jump in single. And there it is, Ashy. They're jumping in with the ball, and they get a pick onto the enemy Baptiste. That is massive. Without that much healing, I feel like Crimson Ruby is really going to struggle to keep this comp alive.
But even with Chang being down, they managed to capture the first point. And you see now a lot of trading is still going on. The point is being contested back by ReVamp.
Achilles gets Ruben.
Donnier just focusing down this Lucio. But again, Crimson Ruby was able to hold with one player down.
Oh, that's a big slam.
A big slam coming in from ReVamp and then finally being able to control the point. What I'm excited for now is, again, our favorite player of today, Ruben, switching onto my personal main, and let's see how he will do with that Tracer.
Yeah, but I mean, we saw there, and Crimson Ruby has to swap because they were trying to hold point. They really didn't give... Oh, we got a game pause.
We got a game pause coming out.
They didn't give the ReVamp team any option to find a singular target to focus, but it just took time. And then the second one player from Crimson Ruby slipped, the second one player from Crimson Ruby gave ReVamp team an opportunity. They just collapsed on them. You see Ashy going in with the Wrecking Ball. You see the Pharah coming in with his rockets.
And right now in chat, we were able to see the reason for this pause. It's that Achilles froze. But right now, we're hopping back into this game in the middle of a team fight.
Yeah, and we can see Crimson Ruby have switched off. Now, opting for a dive with a Sombra.
with a Sombra Ruben again on my other main. I feel really, I am happy now. I can cast my favorite heroes. But anyways, we see the Sombra flanking, trying to get some hacks off, hacking the ball, which is very important, getting rid of this ult, getting a pick onto the Pharah, and Secret getting a pick onto the Tracer as well. A Badanich trading back for Chen.
Yeah, but the beat comes out from Crimson Ruby. They're now able to push in onto point. A hack comes in onto the enemy Sigma. He's being focused down. Mercy falls to Holysop on the Tracer. And there's Transcendence from the Revamp team. They are trying to hold on to this point somehow. Maybe just stagger up to get to 50%, but it doesn't look like it's going to work.
And also, Ashy has sadly fallen before he was able to put down the minefield onto the point. Ruben just mercilessly bursting down the Echo right there.
There comes the mines, though.
There comes the mines. Finally, Ruben going clearing out, hacking this ball again, which is not able to get a lot of value. Again, Ashi falls, but they get the res off on their Echo.
Yeah, but I don't know. Think it's going to be able to do anything. There we go. The Echo falls, and yeah, they're still contesting though. 71%. They've been able to stack out so much point percentage, but there it is. Final members of Revamp fall, and Crimson Ruby is finally able to regain control point, or maybe not. Falls in again, but I think he's
falls in again. They're just dragging out these percentage points as far as they can. I really saw them coming in one by one just to get those little extra ticks off. But I think what is a great change now is Machu Picchu on this Winston to spray down the little annoying Baby Diva's Mercies and Kefpool on this Tracer.
Yeah, but if we look at the ult company now, Crimson Ruby has somebody else at the disposal, and here they come. Here comes the Coalescence, finding two.
Cheng, again, being the player of this fight, getting 2 picks out with Coalescence. Ashi probably falling due to cooldown reasons. Cheng as well getting the Diva, and now again you're playing Sagar the Diva.
Yeah, but I feel like
Diva just quick reset, by the way.
If we look at, I feel like that trickling in that the Revamp team did before wasn't too great, because if we look at Ruben now, he has an EMP, and they have so many ults at their disposal that they could potentially use to win this team fight, and it is getting kind of close with 70% on the clock.
I just feel it that they are trying to pull off this EMP bomb in an important team fight, which would be such a great thing to see for a little fight. The EMP coming out, catching Danirj alone, but Kefpool not being able to follow up well, getting the pulse bomb, sticking it onto random, but Machu Picchu still displacing and trading back Kefpool.
It's a kind of back and forth. There comes a stick, and Ashley falls as well. Both teams losing so many heroes, but it's kind of a
Crimson Ruby winning this fight.
Could go anywhere.
But ReVamp still being able to contest, but Ruben onto this Trace is just doing so much support for his team. As well, the Lucio now trying to contest, but he just stands no chance. But still somehow manages to stay alive, actually. Oh no, Machu Picchu gets him now. But ReVamp reformed on this point and are contesting still.
Yeah, Ashley finds pick up the win, but there falls the enemy Zenyatta, and the Diva is solo. Diva demeched. Ball just desperately trying to swing around. There comes a clone in from the Echo. They get a bomb off. They might be able to find a pick here or two. They don't manage to get anything, and Crimson Ruby is finally finding the picks they need to maybe stabilize, maybe get the point. There comes the Coalescence, and I think that's going to be round one.
The Coalescence, again, Cheng just doing so much in those fights. Those 2 Coalescence were so important for Crimson Ruby to turn this game back around in their favor.
Yeah, at the end, it was kind of a sloppy team fight with both teams getting picks left and right. I couldn't really say which way it was going to go, but in the end, it came down to that crucial ult from Chegg, just getting a Coalescence, getting the kills he needed, and then finally winning that first round.
Yeah, and now, again, we see a common field. Anyway, we see the team pools not changing too much, but we see a Pharah coming out again on the side of Team ReVamp.
Yeah, and ReVamp trying to run this high mobility comp again into Crimson Ruby's more dive, Sombra focused comp. I don't know how else it's going to work, because that Sombra just completely can counter out Ashi on that ball and remove all the value he could potentially get.
Yeah, their first blows are being traded right now. The Far Mercy coming out from ReVamp, and Secret almost with a boop off map. The Lucio following up with another boop, but they were able to save themselves.
But they get Achilles with a beautifully executed dive, and Diva's off the map, Tracer off the map as well, and they do answer with a kill onto Machu Picchu on the Winston, but I don't think it's going to be enough as they have lost too many members of the team, and just like that, ReVamp team opt to basically
reset. And now already we see the point captured in the favor of Crimson Ruby.
Yeah, Crimson Ruby really executing that dive well, focusing down that Zenyatta who does not have the mobility to get away. We saw Danrich on the D.Va trying to desperately save his teammate's life, but it came to nothing, and once Achilles fell, there wasn't really much they could do.
Yeah, now you just see the Zen shooting in from long range, trying to support his
There's a
team.
hack, and there's Ashley falling. Again, Sombra can get so much value off that ball, and that's already down their main tank.
And we have Halsov already with an ult online, Shang with his Coalescence as well, which they don't even need. Crimson Ruby just managed to get almost a full team wipe without using their ults, which is such an amazing feat for themselves, for them to go on.
Yeah, look at the ult economy here. Now, finally, ReVamp team opting to pretty much completely switch up their comp, now with a Kree and a Mei instead of their former DPS picks. But if we just look at the ults that Crimson Ruby have at their disposal, I don't know if ReVamp team can really get anything done here.
This change should have been here from the beginning, because Mei McCree is such something.
There's an EMP.
The EMP comes out, hacks 3 people, the Immortality Field keeps 2 of them alive, they die. Now Cheng follows up with Coalescence, Machu Picchu gets out with the ult, Secret gets a bonk as well, and now Machu Picchu just cleaned the rest of their team.
Yeah, again, the EMP really helped set up that play. Ruben was just able to charge off constantly from that ball, and he had that EMP ready. He was able to hack enough members for just Machu Picchu to jump in pretty much uncontested and do so much damage.
And they're still clinging onto Holy Sauce. Oh, but he gets picked out by Kefcool.
That is a huge pick. They now have the option to push in, and there comes the... Winston is down. Kefcool finding 2. A bomb comes out. Nothing comes out of it, though. Kefcool still watching in. He stuns the D.Va. Nothing comes out of it.
Kefcool making the plays out. Getting out to Lucio that was still contesting. Now they just have to focus down this baby D.Va. And ReVamp manages to, in the last second, win the almost final fight of this map.
Yeah, wonderful that ReVamp team is able to regain point control with 99% on the enemy team. They do have ults at their disposal, as in ReVamp does, so they probably have a good chance to hold on. And it's really going to come down to, can Crimson Ruby get one good push, get one good ult to finally turn this in their favor?
Question is, what will the ults be used for? Oh, the back window coming out already.
Made Freeze comes in as well.
You see a lot of trades. The Immortality Field goes out, keeping people alive. Kefcool low. Kefcool dies first. But as well, we see trades.
Machu Picchu falls from a boop, and there's a shatter in. He gets almost displaced out, but he's able to do damage, and there, ReVamp finally cleaning up. It was kind of a sloppy fight, but in the end, it does end up going in ReVamp's favor, and they still have also their disposal. They're staggering out a Mei. Where's that from? Where'd that come from?
But it worked amazingly. The wall coming out from the Mei of ReVamp was just insane for this purpose. And we still have Kefcool holding on to his ult, just waiting for a situation where he could pull the trigger.
Yeah, but if we see it here, both teams are opting to just push not through the bridge, so pushing through the same point here, really hoping to see if they can get a Mei wall, hoping to isolate an enemy team. But if we look at the ults now, ReVamp does have a bit more at their disposal, might be able to get something done here.
Yeah, they're just trading, and he pulls the trigger on the High Noon, forces them away to just grab out those little extra percents. We also see Achilles and Darth Murloc both ready on their support. Both windows comes out. This is a massive trade. Darth Murloc still holding on to the beat. Ashi living in the Immortality Field. The beat coming out for ReVamp. No picks are traded. Kefcool gets Machu Picchu. Ashi gets Secret. And Random still manages to get back Ashi.
Again, the whale comes up. There comes a freeze as well. ReVamp might be able to hold on to it. They do finish off the enemy D.Va, and the Lucio is so low here. D.Va trying to focus him out. He just has movement, but Random falls, and that's ReVamp getting all the picks they need. They're coming back with a ball to just help get that point.
Crimson Moon just still barely on, but being cleaned out now. And what an amazing game by ReVamp.
ReVamp with the comeback. They do manage to secure a second round. We are going to a round 3 on Lijiang. That was unexpected, honestly. I felt like Crimson Ruby could easily have won that there, but ReVamp, they just held out.
No, it was not ReVamp. It was especially Kefcool. His McCree turned this final fight into a massacre for ReVamp, and that's what allowed them to reform, to get the ult economy back going, and then actually to be able to contest and control this point until the end.
Yeah, and this is what I was saying at the very beginning. With these changes to head scans, Kree is now almost even more devastating since he as a hit scan can really function in these brawly comps at close quarters. But we do see a switch now. Both teams running pretty, I think it's completely mirrored. Yeah, completely mirrored comps. So it's really going to come down to skill here.
Yeah, we see no Symmetra TP coming out right here. Currently spectating. Then he's trying to get down those Symmetra turrets.
Ruben finds a pick onto the enemy Junkrat. That's a trade. Both Immortality Fields come out, and Hollysoft manages to find the enemy Lucio. That's a ton of healing on Secret, destroying the Immortality Field, and there we go. All the members of not Crimson Ruby, the ReVamp team end up falling to the combined damage.
Yeah, ReVamp almost seeming stunned by the, again, very aggressive early performance by Crimson Ruby, and they're now just trying to push up and hold them in that first spawn choke.
Again, this first spawn choke is a great place to hold, but it looks like ReVamp are going to try and rotate around, see if they can get behind the enemy team, and yeah, Crimson Ruby responds to that. They notice, they rotate back closer to point, and Ruben is just spamming into that Junkrat.
Yeah, maybe we can see a bit of Ruben perspective again, because he's doing so much damage again in this fight. Ruben getting the first pick onto Kepku, getting another pick onto Ashi, and just spamming in those nades to do this damage.
And there we go. Ruben, again, the deciding factor in that fight. He gets the kills that are needed, flips it around in their favor. And we look at the ults, both teams coming up on similar amounts. And Crimson Ruby, they're at 40% with a good advantage. And this is what I talk about. With these comps, whichever team gets point control first has a huge advantage.
Yeah, but I am going to say it already. Both of those teams... Shatter coming out. Not even time for me to analyze. What a complete play by Ashi and the Junkrat. This was just turning the match completely into ReVamp's favor currently.
This is the crazy thing about Brawl Comps. It's like, you get some kind of stagnant play at one point, maybe a bit of time, they're just kind of waiting, and then boom, it's instant. The picks come through, the damage comes through, the shadows thrown off for both teams. Here comes a window as well. Try and spam down the Sigma, they don't get the kill. There comes the Tire coming out from Ruben.
Tire coming out and managing to get one pick onto Achilles, but currently also Sigma holding onto this ult, but Crimson Ruby's ult economy just seems better. They push up using this Symmetra window, get dragged up, Reed falls, and now the Reinhardts just both stun each other. This fight is currently so chaotic. Nobody has a clue what's going on, but Archie manages to get the first pick, and now the Junkrat just manages to clean off Secrets and Holysoft getting back, but kept cool as well, getting down Secret.
And yeah, I think Crimson Ruby, they did manage to get 2 picks, but they can't hold out, and there it is. ReVamp gaining point control again with 42% versus 62. This is really going down to the wire at this point. Crimson Ruby, they don't really have any ults at their disposal.
Both Junkrats just putting out this substantial amount of damage, and we're currently in a kind of weird view. But anyway, we see Crimson Ruby rotating around, coming through this middle choke point here. Again, also, Tourney using this height advantage that he gets from being booped around to aim his shots better, to use these angles that he else wouldn't have.
Ruben picks off his counterpart on the Junkrat. Ashi with the ult. Can he lay down a massive shot here to turn in their favor?
Ruben with the ult as well, just holding on to it. He doesn't need it. And as well, I feel like this is the battle of the DPS. We see just those both Junkrats. Whoever falls first, then his team will lose.
It seems to be that the Junkrat, with the amount of damage he puts out, is such a substantial part to this comp, because it really makes the Rhine and the Sigma have to rethink how they play, since their shields are just getting constantly spammed down. They need to try and figure out a way to either get around the damage, but there's a TP. They do manage to get behind him. Ruben instantly pulling the ult. He
managing to get the Lucio, but Cheng as well, just cleaning up.
And Ruben finds the enemy Tire. That is a huge pick. And Ruben finding other. There is a trade-off. Chegg does fall, but I don't think it's going to matter much. They're at 93%. And Crimson Ruby does still have a Shadow in line.
Will ReVamp be able to even contest this?
I don't think they can get
Are they
back.
fast enough?
No.
And that is the first map victory going into the favor of Crimson Ruby.
Kind of sad because there was a Shatter left off at the end by Machipachi. You couldn't see it, sadly, but again, like you said, I feel like your point might be true. It was kind of a battle of the Junkrats.
And we see the play of the game coming out here from Ashi.
Yeah, it was
this
this
Shatter
play
that managed to win them the first fight to get control of this point.
Yeah, that Shatter absolutely fat, followed up by a Junk Tire. It just completely wiped the floor of Crimson Ruby. But like you said, I feel like it was kind of a battle of the Junkrats, a battle of the DPS, because in that, especially on control points, that you have those closed quarters, Junkrat gets so much value. And if you remove him from the equation, that allows the enemy tanks to get a bit more comfortable and a bit more aggressive with their play. They no longer have to worry about junk damage.
Both of these comps stood and fell with their Junkrats and their Reinhardts. Both had a clear strategy in mind, but in the end, Crimson Ruby was just better to put out the better amount of damage and get those important picks to then keep the control of this point. But I have to say, this whole match was incredibly close.
Yeah, it was close. It was always a back and forth. We did see a couple sloppy fights with just teammates going down left and right and no one really seemingly having an advantage. But at the end, it was just a hard-fought victory for Crimson Ruby. And we're going to move into the next map. I'm really excited to see if we maybe see some more variation of the comps, because at the moment they did seem pretty similar. They were quite often mirrored. So I am tempted to see if one team maybe brings out something completely different.
But now we're going on to my personal favorite kind of maps, hybrid maps, and we see Hollywood coming out. What can we expect from those teams on Hollywood?
I'm going to be honest with you. I feel like if the ReVamp manages to get or play in second point, which is basically the area with like the setup village or setup city, I feel like they can switch on to their highly mobile comp we saw in the first round of Lichang Tower. Yeah. With that high ground, they have so much to play for, and I feel like that might be where they excel. And I feel like we might also see the dive, the Winston, coming out from Crimson Ruby.
Yeah, but again, the big question marks are just above TPS. Sadly, I am still not able to pronounce those Asian characters from
Is it Korean? I think it might be
Korean. I sadly do not know the language as well enough. But him versus Ruben is just the biggest question mark matchup, because they're both... I feel like they've both really been carrying their teams.
Yeah, they've been really quite often the deciding factor, but again, I kind of feel bad saying this, that we're focusing so much on the DPS, because yes, they are kind of the flashy players. They make the plays that stand out the most, but we should also focus on the fact that how much their team is enabling these DPS players to get the kills and get the things they need to do.
I mean, we can just point at Ashi, who we saw before in the play of the game.
Yeah, with that Earth Shatter there and Ashi's play, he's been allowing their DPS to get the space they need to get the kills.
And again, my personal secret favorite in those matches was Cheng.
Cheng? Okay.
Because even though he was support, he managed to do the role of an extra DPS. You know what I mean? I mean, with all those coalescences coming out, with the Zenyatta and Baptiste in the first matches that we saw from him. And yeah, right now we're just waiting for you to get in the bake. So we'll take a short break and we'll see you again soon.
I'm also suggesting a quick 2-minute water break.
Short break.
I mean, he's
I have now production outplayed. Yeah, and we were finally informed of the name of ReVamp's DPS. His name is Miso.
We are so sorry for referring to you as the DPS.
That's the DPS. Now you have leveled up. Now you are Miso. And we are currently waiting to get into the second game of this series. I am excited.
I am really excited. I also would like to put a little spotlight on Machu Picchu because I felt like, especially his Winston play has been great, and I really would like to see it on this exact point of Hollywood, the real second point where you have so much high ground to play around. I feel like seeing a Winston there with a bit of dive would be so satisfying.
Yeah, but again, there is the space for those divas to come out and really shine.
Yeah,
divas and as well Ferris.
But we're gonna really have to see what comms the teams end up bringing out, as we're gonna be able to see them in around 5 seconds. Oh, I'm so excited. I hope this game doesn't go down to be a 3-0. At this point, I kind of
wanted to see the full series. But anyways, we can now see both teams. We see first ReVamp on defense.
And they're going for that high mobile comp that I talked about before. They are running Ashi on the ball. The question is, though, how long will they keep it? Because we know Ruben can pull out the Sombra to be a great counter to that ball.
Yeah, and the other thing is, Miso on the Tracer versus Holysoft on his mirror matchup is going to be a real interesting thing on this map.
One problem they might run into is, again, Machu Picchu on that Winston. He will really be able to help jump into that backline and really target that Zenyatta, who might be weak against this comp.
And now we finally also get to see Cheng on the Ana.
Yeah, and Secret opting for a Brigitte. I honestly can't see why. Maybe they're trying to check out and see if the enemy are running a Tracer. They do technically have the counter for that, but I don't know why they originally chose that.
Yeah, you just see both teams just trying to test their limits. Ashi just pushing in onto Machu Picchu and getting that first crucial pick.
Yeah, Machu Picchu tried to jump in. He goes behind with the Tracer, but he falls. But there's Ruben answering back with a kill onto the enemy Tracer. I don't know how well they'll be able to push in without Machu Picchu, without that main tech. And there, Ruben falls. Achilles finds a kill onto a Tracer.
Yeah, and Kefcool as well with this Ash, just putting down the damage from a bit less range than usual.
True. But might be a bit of chasing the range there, but again, Ash is still quite a potent hero. If you have the skill, if you are comfortable on her, you can still get so much done with that hero. And, I mean, Achilles, he managed to kill a Tracer on a Zen. That, for me, is quite impressive, and I quite like to see that.
Yeah, I wanted to see more of it, to be honest. Like, we see the Echo now hovering. Ruben just trying, again, those flying heroes.
There's the engage from the Winston, and Machu Picchu is able to find damage, but again, ReVamp able to answer back with 2 kills. Achilles
and Kefcool carrying ReVamp on this first point hold.
Achilles finds 2 and is now almost out of Transcendence. They're gonna have some great support ults in this upcoming fight. And I mean, Crimson Ruby, all they have is a Nano. They'll probably put it onto the Winston and try and hard engage, maybe get a pick on the enemy support. There comes the jump in, and there comes the Nano.
Nano is coming out. Let's go and see that Nano. Oh, and Holysoft gets bursted down, but Sheng gets Kefcool back.
There's a Transcendence out, enough healing to keep Ashi alive. He has the mines, and there's a stick into the backline onto Chegg. There's Ana falling, and that's pretty much Crimson Ruby being left out of the fight. They do end up using Winston ult. He does find one.
Let's quickly talk about Secret killing himself with his secondary fire.
It was probably just he was such high charge and so low on that small switch. And here we go, like I predicted, the switch, Ruben onto that Sombra, and they are opting to switch Machu Picchu onto a... Oh no, he's staying with Winston, he's staying with Winston.
Yeah, and now we're just waiting to see if that Sombra can be the answer to the problems that they're having in capturing this first point.
They're trying to rotate behind onto the high ground and then maybe pressure down. There's the Sigma ult, comes out. Ashi finds Machu Picchu and hears Miso pushing in behind, maybe looking for a kill, but they find 2 picks, which is gonna pretty much win them this fight. Holysoft answers off with a kill onto Achilles, and there's a boop. They might have restabilized, they might be able to push in here.
Yeah, but again, Dunirch and Kefcool on this high ground, just putting down so much pressure, and the Sombra doesn't really have a target to charge up her ult, and not the space to go in onto an Ashi on his ball, or for example a Dunirch, to actually engage with them and gaining a substantial amount of ult charge.
Yep,
also, the Bob coming out from Kefcool.
He gets hacked, but Ashi finds a kill onto the enemy support. Chegg is down, and Achilles finds Ruben. A stick comes out from Hollysolve, and Secret finds Achilles. They might be able to stabilize here. Miso, though, with an answer onto Ruben, and a beautiful Secretion Rock from Danrich, taking Hollysolve out of the equation, and they're staggering the Baby Diva. There comes the rest on the Achilles, and, I mean, ReVamp somehow still able to hold on to this.
ReVamp showing a great form here, and I would almost bet you that they chose this map with intention. They knew that they were going to perform in such a way on Hollywood.
Yeah, but here we go. We're coming into final fight territory. Crimson Ruby has to find something big here. There comes the Coalescence from Chegg. They usually are big in the past. They're pushing in. They're trying to see if they can find it. Hollysolve managed to get a crucial pick.
Yeah, and the Coalescence sadly not going through, because we just see Achilles with the Transcendence going out.
But Hollysolve finds another Secret, answering onto the kill with Achilles, and Ashi finally falls to Hollysolve. This is Crimson Ruby finally getting the point pressure they need, finally pushing in Hollysolve.
And they managed to get it last second. Darth Murloc just trying to maybe get them from capturing it, but last second, Crimson Ruby made this comeback. Again, with Chang as the catalyst, with this Coalescence keeping Machu Picchu alive, that he just was able to go in that way.
And also, let's just shine a little light on Hollysolve. I'm pretty sure he killed at least 3. It might have even been 4 or 5 in that fight there. Single-handedly, he was just left alone. He was doing so much.
Yeah, everybody forgets about the little Tracer jumping around the backline, but she's able to put down so much damage. Here's just alone pushing the car because he can hide. Oh, and a massive EMP coming out from Ruben, hacking 4 people. Achilles falls through that. Daniers falls through that. They get the stick of Hollysolve. They get Machu Picchu's ult out, and they decided another fight spectacularly in their favor.
But ReVamp is able to answer with picks. They find Machu Picchu and Hollysolve. Ruben just trying to see if he can get anything done, but he can't kill Ashi. Ashi still survives, and although Crimson Ruby are pushing here, they did have to invest a lot into that fight.
Another thing that I quickly want to ask, we have the second self-kill of this match with Kepcool igniting himself with his own dynamite.
We love to see it. We now see Crimson Ruby switching onto Marisa. A Diva Bomb is out. Can't find anything. Kepcool manages to pick off Secret, and Hollysolve is just spamming into that Sigma, trying to see if they can find a pick from an offline. Yeah. The mines do come out. Nothing, no kills from it. Random finds a kill onto Miso. There's a slam from Ashi, and Danrich is able to follow up with a kill onto Chegg, and the mines finish off Ruben.
Yeah, now with Ruben out of the equation, they can really profit from their mobility abilities and just go in and again keep Crimson Ruby to push, or keep them from pushing.
Yeah, I honestly, ReVamp looking great right now. This mobile comp, Ashi is just somehow managing to stay alive against so many counters, against so much CC. He somehow managed to stay alive and get value. Ruben now trying to take the Tracer duel, getting Miso really low. The recall's out though. Ashi slamming into the enemy backline, just surviving. A Bob is at their disposal. A stick comes in onto Machu Picchu, but nothing comes out of it. They have to use a Mortality Field, and there, now we see the beat being answered to Damage's Sigma ult, but Damage is able to find Chegg, and so is Achilles, finds Ruben. Bob is in, finding Secret, and again, ReVamp able to hold.
Yeah, and that should be it for this game. Ashi being revived there, and I think Crimson Ruby is not going to be able to touch.
No.
And so we swap sides.
Wow, I mean, surprising from ReVamp. I feel like, honestly, I'm gonna make a call here. I feel like ReVamp is more confident on that high mobile call. And I feel like the reason why they struggled, say, on Lijiang, is because they were forced into running Brawl. Now that we see they're in a map which allows them to run this high mobility comp, they excel. And it's quite interesting, because this is a comp you may see, you don't really see much in NA, say Overwatch League, you see this more in APAC, and it really focuses around that ball and around, say, your Tracer, really getting in from side angles, and you have the support from a highly mobile Mercy and just Zenyatta who can stay out of range, you can stay back, you can chuck on Discord Orbs, which really helps your team focus, because if you get a Discord Orb, that gives you such a damage advantage. And again, we see them, they're running the same comp.
Yeah, they're running that high mobility comp, and I think what they're doing is not really, as we said, they don't have to adapt to any meta. They can really stay on this high mobility comp that they're confident with good feeling, not being that much of a disadvantage. But what we see now is, again, the not Far Mercy, but Echo Mercy duo from Ruben and Random on defense.
What I'm also interested to see is Hollysolve on that Torbjorn. And I feel like that choice was made with the point of trying to counter out Ashi or Miso. Really, that turret, since you don't need to aim, it can just be a nuisance for a Wrecking Ball or a Tracer.
Yeah.
And again, like you mentioned, Ruben on that Echo.
And it seems like they have set up a bunker on that high ground with just Ruben and Random just floating around trying to deal damage. But already there's a ball in their face. And Cheng is just trying to keep his team alive right there. Achilles getting a pick onto the turret and onto Secret, but Random resurrects Secret. Cheng with the pick onto Ashi. Ruben with the Tracer kill on Echo, and now ReVamp is just forced to back away, and Ruben gets the pick onto Darth Murloc as well.
Yeah, beautiful plays. Ruben just cleaning up here. Can he manage to get the third kill? Can he kill the Ashe? Yes, he can. Wonderful little flick there. Love to see it. And yeah, at first I thought ReVamp had the advantage with Achilles getting that kill, but the res comes out, and then they're able to restabilize. Crimson Ruby holding strong.
Again, we see Ruben reactivated as soon as he's able to do this Mercy Flying Hero duo with Random. Those two just complement each other perfectly. And they just know how to play this.
Yeah, and look, he's trying to focus down the Tracer. Tracer forced to recall. They use Window. And there's a boop, though, coming in from Ashi.
And Mines on high ground as well. You see Ruben getting the pick onto Ashi, but Cheng falling to the Mines. As well, Kefcool jumping around with Darth Murloc's boost to maybe get in this crucial headshot one-shot.
Comes out from Ashi. That's huge. They now have the advantage. Ashi manages to find Secret. ReVamp looking really strong here. There's an overload coming up with this, with a stick onto Machu Picchu. Finishes him off, and I don't think Crimson Ruby can hold on to this.
But Machu Picchu gets resurrected. Achilles with the pick onto Hollysoft. Achilles with the pick onto Ruben. And Kefcool finishing off Random. Achilles as well. We just see the Zenyatta DPS coming out here and granting ReVamp this first point.
Honestly, I feel like we're just watching a game with like 3 DPS on each side.
Yes.
Because, I mean, Crimson Ruby, they have Cheng who's doing DPS, and I mean, ReVamp, they have Achilles. So it's kind of like we're watching triple DPS comps right now.
What?
Oh! Hollysoft gets a kill onto Lisa,
and Secret as well. Secret is also a player that we have not talked about that much today already. That isn't really standing out, but I think he's still putting down a solid and constant performance to shield his team.
Yeah, and here we go. ReVamp coming into the second part of the point. They now have to worry about a bunker comp on this high ground. They have a ton of ults at their disposal. Here comes the Valkyrie and the Sigma ult, catching 3 players.
Yeah.
Can they get a kill here?
They're just completely zoning off Crimson Ruby on this high ground, just stressing them out, and the card is pushing.
But Ruben is able to find damage, and maybe even Achilles as well. Ashi falls. ReVamp had to invest so much into that fight, but they don't
there
get
you just
out.
see Chang, Ruben, and Secret just playing this fight perfectly and getting down the kills. But again, ReVamp has a lot of time remaining and not that far of a distance to push. I don't know if they can set up onto this high ground again without being C9'd.
Yeah, Secret though, I mean, Crimson Ruby in general, they have a ton of ults at their disposal, which can really help them hold on to this. It's gonna really come down to how well ReVamp can engage and displace this bunker comp. Achilles
As well, being the DPS in this matchup.
And there comes the slam from Ashi, pushing in. They're now got presence on point. Kevcool just trying to damage from afar with that edge. Damage gets rid of the immortality. They're pushing point.
ReVamp C9ing them, almost going through with it. Ashi getting the crucial knock-up. Kevcool with the picks, Darniarch with the picks, and Mochi as well with the picks. The stick onto Machu Picchu, and this is game 2, everybody.
ReVamp, they do manage to get the win here, and honestly, it was such a deserved win. The way they played that high mobility comp was perfect, and it completely negated any value that Crimson Ruby could get.
Yeah, and you just noticed they are used to playing this map.
Yeah.
That is the first case where we can confidently say they were just practicing this map a lot. In my opinion, it could be that they're just like, oh no, we like Hollywood. But like, in my opinion, they have practiced this map a lot. They knew exactly where to set up and what to do with their high mobility comp on the map like Hollywood.
Yeah, not only was it the map pick that favored them, but also the comp. And it felt like Crimson Ruby, they tried to answer it. They tried to switch up to that double shield with the Torbjorn. They tried to find counters, but in the end, ReVamp had the individual capability to outlast potential counter picks.
Yeah, and with this high mobility comp, they can also basically use that to their advantage to just disrupt the brawl comp that Crimson Ruby likes to run, as we heard from Ruben.
And also, when they tried to run the double shield, Ashi was just constantly rolling in, displacing them, getting them to try and turn around, look at different angles, and that just allowed Kevcool on the Ashe, since they weren't focusing him, to just do so much damage from a rage, and also Achilles. Achilles with that Zen is actually a good pick in this meta, since with that damage drop-off effects, he can also really work as a DPS.
Achilles was insane.
Wait. You could call it the Achilles heel.
He wasn't, though. He was the entire strength in this match for ReVamp.
Next map, though, we have gotten the call. It is going to be Rialto. This is going to be interesting to see. I'm expecting to see Brawl coming out from Crimson Ruby, and maybe the high mobility comp with the ball coming out from ReVamp, but I'm not sure. I feel like they might be forced to mirror with that Brawl.
Yeah, but as well, if they can use their high mobility comp to their advantage to display this brawl, it could be very well possible that they take it on this payload map.
Yeah, we're going to have to really see. I don't know what either team is really going to pull out here. Rialto, though, is quite an interesting map. We might also see double sniper coming out from one team. Even though the hit scan nerfs have come through, the hit scan changes, they might still opt to run it.
Yeah, so we're just going to be interested because this map has a lot of different areas. The second part of the map is really open, and on the first one, you're really susceptible to boops, as you see right there, with this river that people can be booped into.
Really? Really? What?
Yes!
No way! But yeah, double sniper might still be caught, and we have seen Kevcool. He is quite confident on that Ashe. He does seem to be able to get value from that pick, so it wouldn't surprise me if he still opts to go for that.
Yeah, the only thing I can tell you right now, I don't know what to expect except an amazing game 3.
Yeah, amazing game 3. Sadly, Crimson Ruby's ideal scenario of that 3-0 not coming true, and we can see ReVamp going for that high mobility.
With the high mobility, but Achilles in the backline.
Yeah, again, I feel like they're just keeping this confident comp, but if we look at Crimson Ruby, they are going the double sniper. They are going Hollysob on the Widow and Ruben on the Hanzo, which we have never seen before.
And a switch again. Hollysob choosing to stay on the Ashe, but again, the range of the comp of Crimson Ruby is really big. Like, you see Widow, you see Hanzo, and you see Cheng switching onto this Baptiste.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting how they play. They do have to worry, though, because the enemy does have a Tracer and a ball to technically disrupt their backline. Ruben, though, on that Hanzo, seeing if he can get any damage done.
Still theoretically considered a projectile hero, which we've seen him play a lot. This match, and Hollysob sticking on this hit scan, getting those hits in, and picking out Mochi on the Tracer with a clean headshot.
Wonderful headshot there, and another one! Kevcool goes down to Hollysob, he gets focused down by Ashi, but he still managed to survive. That's 2 massive picks from the Widow.
And again, he's hitting down on Zenyatta, which forces him out of things. He gets the pick onto Achilles.
That's a beautiful play from Hollysob, now jumping up into the high ground. It looks like he's looking for that Tracer again. He's trying to get around the equation. Ashi, contesting point, but Hollysob's just on this high ground having the time of his life. Kevcool! Did Kevcool get booped, or did they just fall off the map?
I don't think we should talk about that. And Ruben getting the pick onto Danny Urge. Machupachi still pushing, and the payload slowly going towards this checkpoint.
Yeah, the payload just moving slowly. ReVamp doesn't really have an answer to this. They're setting up onto the high ground, Crimson Ruby here, looking to see if Hanzo can just put in damage from above with his Storm Arrows. Sigma forced to use Secretion. There comes the sights. Dueling the Tracer with a Widow. Interesting choice here.
Yeah, Ruben also really profiting from the sights, but Muchi on the flanking route, and trying to get something down. We see the Dragon being ready, waiting for the Dragon to strike.
Ruben finds 2 though in secret, finds another, but Achilles
gets down Ruben before he gets out. It's all but secret in the background.
Achilles finds another.
and Achilles finding another. ReVamp dying to Machu Picchu. Still being contested by this ball.
I don't know, maybe they can do something here, but Ashley does fall. I think that might be that. Lucio trying to desperately get in, but he cannot find the contest.
And first checkpoint is here. Danny Rich maybe jumped off the map for a quick reset.
Probably a quick reset there. But yeah, if we look at Crimson Ruby, they have 5 ults available. They didn't need to use ults there. They could just rely off the pick potential from Ruben, from Hollysob, to get them through, get the picks they needed.
That's what we see a lot of Crimson Ruby, those 2 matches that we spectated them. They were just in situations where they theoretically had the ults to securely change the game, but they opted not to and actually just keep them for a later fight. And Hollysoft again getting the pick onto Muchi on that Tracer.
Beautiful plays from Hollysoft here. They're just pushing point here. The window does come up on high ground. Ashi desperately trying to contest. He does use mines. Vanrich finds his counterpart Secret. The mines are on cart, but nothing much is coming out of it. Hollysoft being heavily focused down. Dragon is out. Nothing is found from it though. Big dynamite, and Muchi does find the stick, and Kevcool answers Hollysoft.
This is the first time that ReVamp actually finds an answer to this brawly comp with Muchi getting 2 picks, but now Cheng, the supporter, is just striking back with 2 melee kills.
He uses the immortality, but he's still alive here. But there, Chegg finally falls, and I want to point out, I think Random might have actually just shield bashed off the map. We're not going to talk about it too much, but I think that might have happened. Ruben, confirmed from production. Ruben now staying around the point with that Tracer now, switching off the Hanzo, and Hollysoft on the Ash. They're now trying to focus down the enemy Sigma on the high ground, drop it down, trying to kill Kevcool down. Rally comes out.
Ruben again on one of these more aggressive and flanking picks instead of the Hanzo, and you can really see how it benefits him.
Ashi being focused down here gets stunned. Hollysoft and able to finish him off, and Crimson Ruby are just pushing this point through.
But again, this match, really heavy focus I'd like to put on Hollysoft. Yeah. Because he is just doing so much damage with his hit scan, winning the duels. And the amazing thing is, not many hit scan players are able to so consistently pick off Tracers.
Yeah, here comes the engage, so they use both support.
Oh, and people are flying left and right like flies.
Chegg finds the damage, and there's a stick as well from Ruben. And finally, Crimson Ruby finds the kills we need to push through, but it was a sloppy fight at the end.
And there's a team kill at this point.
Yeah, honestly, that fight could have gone either way. ReVamp did opt to use both support ults, both a Valkyrie and a Transcendence coming in to help them push in onto point, but in the end, nothing came out of it. We now see Kevco switching on to McCree.
Yeah, just the hit scan duel on this map is being, like, very heavily in favor because Hollysoft is just putting down such a great performance.
Yeah, here comes the engage with the Sigma ult. Orisa forced to use Fortifying outcomes thing, but Achilles finds Chegg, and it's kind of sloppy here, but Random and Hollysoft find 2 picks, and it's now going back and forth. Both teams finding picks. A Bob is in, as well as a Rally, and Secret finds 2, and Crimson Ruby able to hold on to that fight.
Again, the man or the woman secretly doing their plays in the background, not in our field of view, but still mattering extremely as Secret here. You see him getting a lot of consistent damage out, getting picks left and right, and in this fight, he was really able to shine.
Out with the Immortality and a Signal to save them. They are still good. Shatter comes
out. Hollysoft getting the picks. Again, Secret as well with the melee kill. Hollysoft just staying in the backline, getting the damage down with Machu Picchu's Ultra Booster, and they managed to cap the final checkpoint with 2 minutes and 16 seconds remaining.
Yeah, these fights have gone back and forth constantly. I could never really say there was a clear winner, but Crimson Ruby, they just have the sustain, they have the survivability to stay in these fights, to really brawl them out, and in the end come out on top.
Yeah, and I feel like this play that Hollysoft made at the beginning with his Widow, this must be such like a high morality boost for his entire team. When you see your DPS go off like that, you just want to go with him, use the amount of like pressure he gave you to then act upon it, and that's what Crimson Ruby have done flawlessly so far.
Yeah, we saw that really just set the momentum for this entire play, but we now see ReVamp maybe going for the same comp that they usually run, or maybe opting for a Widow, whereas Crimson Ruby is going back to the same comp they ran before.
Yeah, Crimson Ruby, we see again Secret on his Sigma. I think we have not seen him on anything else today, have we?
No, I think Sigma has been his comfort pick so far. And we see Machu Picchu on the Orisa, Ruben on the Tracer, looking to maybe see if he can get behind the enemy and deal with Achilles on the Zenyatta.
Yeah, but you see Kefcool just with the silent boost of Darth Murloc just chilling there, waiting to get those crucial one-tap headshots onto squishy targets.
And here we go, round 2 starting. Kefcool staying in the back, using that damage to just shoot into the enemy's shield, and Ashi looking to see if he can get an engage, maybe a boop off the high ground.
Again, we see that both teams are just trading, and silently the card is being pushed without being heavily contested by Crimson Ruby.
Crimson Ruby, though, holding strong on this high ground, but both Mochi damage finds Machu Picchu. Both Mochi and Ashi are just desperately trying to displace them, just annoy them from all possible angles. Ruben, with a flank, trying to focus down the enemy. Mercy can't get the pick, though.
Yeah, as well, Ruben is just trying to get in as much damage as he can, charging off this old Holy Soft. Miraculously survives at first, but then Danny Urch actually getting the pick down onto him.
And they're just pushing the cart. We now see Crimson Ruby actually having to engage from behind ReVamp's lines, and Achilles finds Machu Picchu. That is a huge big secret being focused out from all angles. Ashi finds Chegg. Ruben may have traded out for Achilles, but I don't think it's going to matter. Ruben gets a sick onto damage as well. It's back and forth here, but Kevcool manages to get a massive shot onto Hollysoft, and the Tracer finishes it off, and that's point 1 for ReVamp.
Kevcool just putting down this amount of damage in this fight was so important. Machu Picchu going for a quick reset. And now Machu Picchu actually switching onto the ball.
No,
back to the Orisa.
He's keeping his Orisa.
And we see Archie coming up onto the mines. Machu Picchu now trying to get back with his team, back into position. Secret now, just trying to test the limits together with the rest of his team.
Yeah, now they're in a real... Oh, Bob comes out from Kevcool, gets beat back. Heavily focused, but still there, still doing damage. Kevcool's Bob may be able to find something here. Kevcool going for the duel onto Ruben, and Achilles finds Secret. And we can now see Crimson Ruby rotating back, down off the high ground, trying to reset, but Hollysoft wins the Ash duel, and Rez does come out, but they now don't have a res coming into this upcoming fight. Ashley trying to duel anything with a rally is
down.
Big
Dynamite forces the rally out instead, but this rally couldn't cost get them to win this fight. Hollysoft boops away the enemy. Oh, and Danny Urch with a big Sigma ult, getting down. Archie getting the pick with the slam as well. Achilles getting a pick onto Ruben. Them trading back, but Archie is just cleaning out this fight with Darth Murloc getting a Mercy pistol kill.
We love Mercy pistol kills, and there it was really Danrich setting up that play with the huge Sigma ult, just dealing so much damage. Of course, Crimson Ruby could answer with their Immortality Field with that out, and the players being so low was easy pickings for Ashi.
Yeah, and now they have all the time in the world to just try to get this last point. We see Danny on fire.
He's just trying to see if he can take an off angle to do more damage. They do have both support ults available. Hollysoft now on the McCree. Out comes the window, looking to push in Ashi. Somehow able to dodge a stun.
Yeah, but Mochi just being on this flank route brought so much pressure on them because we don't know if they know. Oh! But Hollysoft with the stun kill onto Mochi on this Tracer. Achilles Transcendent is coming out. Secret is waiting to pull the trigger on his Symphony.
Yeah, and they use Transcendence to try and push in here. Bob comes in from Kevpool, manages to take out the Immortality Field. A rally is there, as is a High Noon. Chegg finds Danrich, and I think that might turn the fight in their favor. Kevpool desperately trying to maybe make something work, but Random finishes him off.
Yeah, we see the High Noon being used as a zoning tool in this big open area. You could have said it was useless because it got no picks, but it actually forced the entire team ReVamp out of this choke point, which made them easy fodder for the rest of Crimson Ruby.
Yeah, Crimson Ruby do have a supercharger at their availability, as do they have a Sigma ult, and I mean, ReVamp doesn't have much at their disposal. They might be able to get something off a Pulse Bomb from Mochi. We'll have to see.
But right now, I feel like Crimson Ruby just has to stall out time.
There's the stick.
Stick does not manage to kill something, but Cheng getting a pick onto Ashi.
That's huge. That's good.
And Mochi falling to Machu Picchu as well. This forces ReVamp to quickly push back Owl.
Yeah, they're forced to get out here, losing both their main tank so early and a DPS. There's no way they can take that fight. Ashi is now back in it. They have 3 minutes left on the clock. Will they be able to get it before Crimson Ruby's time is the question.
Yeah, I personally don't feel like it. It could be very well possible that with the amount of ults that is in Crimson Ruby's favor, they could potentially full hold.
Yeah, it might be doable here. Machu Picchu still holding on to that supercharger. They just have such a nice bunk here. Ashi with the engage. As the signal comes in, there comes the supercharger. And Danrich finds a kill. Achilles answers with the Transcendence, keeping his team nice and healthy. Danrich now trying to spam and Danrich seeing if he can get anything done. But Chegg finds a kill onto the Tracer. Danrich enters back. But Achilles finds Ruben as well. It's back and forth constantly. And Machu Picchu falls. That is a huge pick coming out. Ashi can't even shot the McCree. No.
But again, they're just contesting, trying to get out as much time as they can. Holy Soft now hanging on to this High Noon, waiting to pull the trigger till he sees an opportunity. He sees 4 people with his skull on. Will he pull the trigger? Will he do it? He gets 2 picks onto Achilles and Muchi.
That's a huge pick. Bob comes out. They might be able to get something done here. Bob finds Hollingsworth. Damage finding Machu Picchu as well. Chegg falling little. Bob gets another, and Damage finds Chegg, and that's it. That is the final push.
I am going to be honest. I thought Holy Soft's ult there would have won them the game.
I was going with that as well, but somehow ReVamp able to hold on to this, able to get enough picks to turn the fights in their favor and somehow win. It was quite sloppy at the end with both teams losing players left and right, but still, 1 minute 45 on the clock for ReVamp, definitely winnable.
Yeah, now we're just waiting to see what heroes we will see from both sides, actually.
I feel I'm honestly going to go with Crimson Ruby sticking with their comp they've run all the time. I don't feel like they have any real reason to swap off. Yeah, we're most likely going to go with the same thing.
Yeah, but both team comps are sticking to what they're used to, believing that it's going to work out for them. Just dueling the skill, and what I'm really excited to see now is Ruben versus Muchi on this Tracer duel. Who is able to control the flank routes, who is able to put down the pressure via those flank routes, and so maybe be able to put the other team at a disadvantage.
We could definitely see Crimson Ruby is really trying to deal with the amount of movement the enemy has by the amount of CC. They have Brig Stun, they have a Kree Stun, they have Orisa Pull, and they have Sigma's Accretion Rock. All of which can be hell for if you're playing Ball or Tracer, just constantly being CC'd around.
Yeah, now we just see Crimson Ruby setting up onto the high ground to see how far this push from ReVamp will go. Again, not deciding to hold early down, but hold the high ground, letting them push a bit, but still the McCree putting down the damage. Oh! And Ashi gets the early pick onto Ruben.
That's a huge pick. Even though they're up on this high ground, Ashi's still able to set off that pick, and now he's just rolling up, constantly pushing down. They're pushing point this whole time. And Crimson Ruby's going to have to decide to either drop down or stay up here and leave the point uncontested. Some members drop, and there's the random on Brig falling as well to a well-executed dive, and as does Hollysoft, and ReVamp is just running away with this.
Yeah, Danny Urge as well, doing important plays on the Sigma, again getting Ruben as well, and they're now just pushing uncontested to the first checkpoint.
Yeah, the thing is, the double shield that Crimson Ruby is running excels on staying on high ground, but the second they have to drop, that's a split, and the dive comp or the high mobility comp that ReVamp is running excels.
I know they're trading blows already. Machu Picchu being very low, Muchi getting out the slam that came out from Chang, and Ruben being poked down as well, but still no picks from either side.
They got the point.
They got the point, but I personally do not think that Crimson Ruby was trying to contest it.
They were moving quite far up, but who knows? Oh, there's a stick.
There's a stick, but Danny Urge surviving with the healing of his motion, and Achilles getting out Ruben on the Tracer.
And there's a pulse bomb coming in from Mochi. Doesn't find anything. He does fall to a Brick Flail. There comes the Sigma ult. They don't have much to answer to it. Kevkul finds Random. They're now pushing up onto the Reacher. They find Machu Pachi. Lamp is out, but it doesn't end up saving anyone.
Again, I feel like the player in this match is Danny Urge. He is just doing so much on this Sigma, putting out constant damage while still providing cover for his team. He's playing this Sigma ideally the way you're supposed to, and he's getting so much value out of it. You see now just 4 people of ReVamp pushing towards this next checkpoint. And as far as now, we still have not seen an answer from Crimson Ruby.
Yeah, Kevkul finds back up the Holly Self and he tosses in the Bob, hoping to do damage. There. Oh, they C9!
They C9'd!
It's
they
a Charlie
were pushed
Niner!
off the point.
I don't think they were pushed off. I think they literally walked off.
Did they pull
I think
the C9?
I think they pulled the Shanghai Dragons. I think they just abandoned point.
The C9.
Can we please somehow get a replay on that? Because I'm 99% sure
No,
that's a C9.
I don't think that will be possible, but...
I don't want it to be a C9 because I feel so bad for them because they probably would have won that fight. But I think that, yeah, we can't get a replay, sadly, but I'm pretty sure that was a C9. Alpha wish both teams are probably just silent at this point.
Yeah.
Well, how do you react to that?
Yeah, but we get confirmation
Yeah.
it was a C9,
Oh, no.
which is quite sad because ReVamp put down a great
ReVamp,
performance.
why you gotta do this to me? I can't deal with the C9 at this point.
But right now, this is just happy hour for Crimson Ruby. They got basically a free stoppage out of that, and now they have the tools to actually win this game.
But to be fair, even though it was C9, ReVamp managed to push quite far. They got all the way past first point, which is quite an achievement with the amount of time they had available. So now we're going to really have to try and deal with Holysov on that Widow, who we've seen can be deadly.
Yeah, if Holysov can again put out as much headshots as he has in the first round of this map, I don't know how ReVamp will answer, but that's what we're going to see right now.
Yeah, Holysov looking for see if he can find any off angle on the enemy support. Goes for shot, but Achilles with a beautiful volley, not able to finish Holysov off. That's a ton of damage coming through. Ashi rolling around above them, and we can just see Crimson just pushing the cart slowly. Ashi going to the background, trying to focus down Holysov, and Ruben finds Mochi on the Tracer. This allows Holysov to push
and
up.
again, Ruben as well on the Hanzo. Holysov
Ashi?
dealing with Ashi in the background while his team was basically destroyed.
Yeah, and there you go, Ashi in the back trying to push up, but Machu Pachi finds 2. Ashi not able to get out. Nice shot from Holysov. That's gonna take a lot of wood out of the sails, and I mean, Crimson's just pushing.
I'm going to be honest, I don't know if that was the play to go for Ashi's perspective, because he may took out Holysov. He didn't kill him, he took him out of the fight, but the rest of Crimson Ruby was like, okay, then we're just gonna take on your team who has 1 less tank.
Yeah, and we now see Kevkul looking for an off angle, trying to find Holysov, doesn't manage, and now there's a Sigma in his face.
Yeah, but Secret protecting his teammate right there, and we see Random with the boop. And again, Holysov with the Tracer kill. Holysov, another kill onto Kevkul. Danny Urge desperately trying to contest as long as he can, but the Holysov is coming up on his ult, and they finally somehow still manage to contest this point.
Again, Holysov being pushed down from the Tracer, but he manages to get up onto the high ground. And ReVamp, they ended up using Transcendence to try and hold on, but it doesn't work. But Crimson Ruby does use Rally and Sight. They still have ults at their disposal.
Yeah, right now, it's already getting into like final big fight territory, because after the next fight, Crimson Ruby is forced to park at least 1 person on the payload to actually get forward in this game, but Holysov setting up back there just to get maybe some cheeky picks. Ruben being more aggressive with his Hanzo, just trying to hop in, poke down some damage.
Uses the sonar to try and see if he can find a target. He's now pushing them to the side. Mines come out on point.
And we are officially in overtime.
Kevkul finds a pick with his Bob. Ashi finds another. Overtime picking down. Both picks out from Kevkul. Finds another one with his Bob. And the Mines take out Secret, who is in the middle of using his Sigma ult. And ReVamp hold on to this somehow.
A second game, which was amazingly played from ReVamp, is coming here. We saw it right now. They just set up, and they are feeling confident on this comp. They are staying with this comp. The whole series, they were staying with this comp. And this was what won them the game. They're so confident. They know exactly how to play it, who is going to do what and when, and this is what I personally feel like is winning them those rounds.
Yeah, and like we said at the very beginning, the current patch we're on allows teams like ReVamp to run the comps that they're confident in. They're no longer forced into this strict mold that says you have to run A, B, C, D, E, F, G heroes to get any value at all. They have the freedom and they have the confidence, especially, to run this comp, and they just get so much value off it.
Yeah, they get value off it like crazy. We talked about it so much already. Just those fixed comps, this open meta. It's really a great time to host such tournaments because we're not going, well, we expected to not see the same thing the whole day, but still now they aren't forced by a meta. They're forced to play what they're good at, and this makes the level of play even more amazing.
And what we can also really see is the teams focusing on counter picks. They're looking, oh, what are the enemy playing? Okay, we should adapt our comp to this. We should adapt the play style slightly. Like we saw Crimson really focusing on playing around that high ground where we're on defense, which is where double shield excels, and then offense looking to go for that more aggressive play with the Hanzo and with the Sigma.
Yeah, and we just got confirmation that we're going to see a Hanamura gameplay. How do you think this will play out with the comps that we've seen so far?
Well, it is 2CP, right? So game mode, we have not seen it all. Game mode, a lot of people dislike, me included. But I feel like we're probably going to see Brawl from Crimson Ruby, and I feel like ReVamp is going to be able to stick on their high mobility comp and maybe be forced into their
pro level
Brawl sort of statistic, but I don't know.
Pro level
yeah, but if we actually see the team comps coming out like they were until now, what do you think that will happen? Will finally, with this 2CP map, the Brawl comp be in an advantage again over this high mobility comp?
I feel like when it comes down to it, especially Hanamura on second point, I feel like the Brawl will come out on top and really give, if Crimson Ruby is the one running it, such a big advantage over ReVamp.
Yeah, and again, if they're going to Game 5, we're gonna see that control map again that Crimson Ruby just excelled at. We can now see the heroes that are coming out.
Yeah, you see, ReVamp surprisingly going for the Brawl on defense. I think they really are, just because of the map, kind of forced to run it. They don't have the option to play any high mobility or anything. They have to kind of play this Brawl here, and what it looks like it so far, Crimson Ruby also going with the same Brawl thing. We do see one differentiation though, which is Kevpool running a McCree, which I'm honestly quite excited to see. Maybe you can try and get stuns out, maybe focus down the enemy Mei, maybe take her out of the equation, but Crimson Ruby looking to go for the Sim TP for the early point capture, or maybe to get onto the high ground.
Yeah, Crimson Ruby really wants to speed up the game's pace, because if they are in control of the pace at this point in the match, they will be able to roll over this first checkpoint, which is the biggest challenge in my opinion in this map.
There's the TP.
And they did the TP on point. The Mei wall sabotaged ReVamp themselves, and now Daniel gets the first pick, gets frozen,
and
Ashi gets the fire strike. They TP'd in, but now ReVamp just quickly turned around and is still in control of this first point.
Wow, I did not expect that. Crimson Ruby with the TP, and it already started falling apart when Darich on the Diva, which is a pick we haven't seen from him, gets that early kill, and then from there, Ashi on point was just able to pretty much swing his hammer and get so much value, and now, I mean, Crimson Ruby is sticking with the Sim. I don't know if they'll be able to go for the same TP again.
Yeah, I was about to say, the surprise is over. They're expecting that now. They're keeping it in the back. But it gets blocked by Machu Picchu. Darth Murloc getting down the lamp with his boop. Machu Picchu getting out the enemy's lamp and getting a charge on to Ashi. We see the Mei wall come up to maybe slow down the momentum of Crimson Ruby a bit, but they're just relentlessly pushing through the window, thus taking away the value that ReVamp could have gotten.
But their picks being traded left and right. Random finds Kevpool, but In the end, somehow, Crimson Ruby is able to win that, even though they lost both their main tank and a Symmetra.
Yeah, Darth Murloc still tried to contest, but Crimson Ruby getting the first tick in now. Are ReVamp able to reform before they are going to capture the extent of this point? No, they will not even try to contest. They're now setting up for the second point. Defense.
Yeah, they're looking for a TP around the side here. Initially trying to engage onto the D.Va. They're probably going to go straight to point, whereas ReVamp is holding on the high ground. A Maywall comes out, blocking off Kevpool's ultimate. He maybe can find something here. No. Cannot find anything from his Deadeye. Now just looking to rain damage from the high ground. The enemy lamp comes out, and there's a freeze.
And again, the momentum coming down from Crimson Ruby just overruns the likes of Kevpool, who is trying to stay on the high ground. And now Machu Picchu is just wiping the floor of them together with Random on this Lucio. We haven't really seen so much from this evening, but like Ashi's desperately trying to hold on.
And there we go. They've run it through. Although ReVamp got a freeze out, nothing comes out of it. And now it's just a matter of time. ReVamp trickling in, but I don't think they have any hold to hold it.
Yeah, but again, Secret getting those picks, Machu Picchu as well. And what an amazing first round by Crimson Ruby. As I said, if they manage to get this early speed out, the early pace, ReVamp was just overrun.
Yeah.
And we see just Moochie in the chat saying, blaze it, but like... Anyways, because they finished at 420, eh?
Yeah.
Anyways, what do you expect as an answer from ReVamp here?
I don't know. Again, I feel like this is really where ReVamp struggles. They don't have as strong of a brawl comp as Crimson Ruby, and once Crimson Ruby gets the momentum going, they're just getting run over. So I almost feel like ReVamp has to try and rethink it. Maybe actually try something that's outside of the box, something that Crimson Ruby doesn't expect, and it looks like they are, according to the picks that they have locked at the moment.
Yeah, well, they just switched up Moochie on to this Pharah and Darth Murloc onto the Mercy to go for a pharmacy. But again, we just see Ruben and Random teaming up again to bring us the Pharmercy from Crimson Ruby's side, which I'm really excited to see.
Yeah, again, a real switch up in Cobbs. Again, Crimson Ruby not going for the Brawl, this time going for more of the Orisa, but with the D.Va to give them extra mobility, and it looks like ReVamp going back to their comfort comp, their comfort high mobility, but now with the extra spice of the Pharah and the Mercy.
Now, right now, I'm gonna ask you a question. Do you think this will go into Game 5?
I feel like it might at this point. It's getting quite close, and honestly, it could go either way at this point.
It could go either way. We also see already Archie spilling in already, speeding in to the back line of Crimson Ruby.
Yeah, Secret looking to see if they can defense Matrix. Any damage coming from Ashi. Dynamite goes in, doesn't find anything, and Ashi falls to Secret early with the help from the stun of Polysov. And yeah, Crimson Ruby is just holding strong here, and ReVamp is forced to back out.
Yeah, right now, both teams are just testing their limits, not really going in, but not really getting picks. ReVamp reset, but Random getting hit with a rocket, surviving closely. But you see just Ruben putting down pressure onto Ashi that he can't enter this point from behind.
Someone is capping point. Ashi on point, just looking to get a bit of capture, and that displaces them. Lamp comes out, and Mushi finds the enemy Pharah. That's a veritable, and Achilles finds Polysov, and there we go. ReVamp finding the kills they need. I feel like what really changed the fight in their favor there was Ashi going back to the point. Although he didn't get a capture, that displaced them. That forced Crimson Ruby to try and rethink where they position, and they got split. Then we saw Chegg using his Immortality Field really early, and that allowed ReVamp to push in really hard and get those final picks they needed.
And that's the hard thing about those two CP maps. Now, we already have a cleared out window for them to just push in, still on the same team fight win. And now they can just push up and maybe already take the second point.
Yeah, they have ults at their disposal. They could easily get something done here if they can get a crucial pick. And there comes the window, and Achilles answers with a Transcendence, getting in the heals. There come Mines. They have a lamp to play, but Ashi finds 3 with his Mines, taking out the entirety of the team.
But Ruben's still alive, getting picked down by Mushi. Random and Secret trying to hold on to it. Kevpool getting Random before he can rest, and now Secret is just staying there, trying to do things.
Kevpool
Machu Picchu coming back, just desperately trying to hold on again to stall out this
Polysoft
time.
kills 3. Polysoft gets 3, and I think Crimson Ruby can stabilize here. They get the kills they need. Kevcool's Bob, though, is still available. Achilles finds Ruben, but I think they have to back out. It's only Achilles left alive, and Crimson Ruby have somehow held on to this.
Crimson Ruby managed to stabilize after this very chaotic team fight, and now have the time it managed if ReVamp actually managed to capture, and then you see Secret just playing some games.
I think he's trying to use the emote to have the third-person perspective to see around that corner without peeking. I don't think he can really get and see much, but it might give him a bit of help here. And I mean, ReVamp at a slight disadvantage. They have to use so many ults. Both teams not really having much at their disposal. Damage though does have the same ult. That could be huge here.
Yeah, we see Secret just trying to farm up his ult charge. Cheng as well, just dealing constant damage there and healing back up. Oh, we see Daniel ult coming out. Polysoft in the full confidence of this immortality field, still trying to get down people. But ReVamp manages to get down the kills that they need to capture this objective. We're going into overtime, people.
I think, yeah, they get it. There it is. There's the cap. It was off of Danrich's ult, just putting down so much damage. And also we saw Achilles getting an early kill onto Ruben, removing him from the fight, allowing them to push up without having to worry about a Pharah. And then Danrich's ult just does so much damage. They all just collapse in onto the staggering last members of Crimson Ruby, and therefore are able to cap the point.
But now Crimson Ruby, being the team under pressure right here to hold as good as they can, they have this extra time that they played themselves for in the round before. But right now, if they don't defend this successfully, their streak is over. They get to go home.
They only have a 44-second advantage. I don't know how much it will actually help them out here. We do see a slight change, though. They are opting for Ruben to go onto the Echo. This might be to help him outplay, or better said, counter the enemy Pharah, since Echo does have a lot more mobility in the air. It's a lot easier for an Echo to kill a Pharah than it is for a Pharah to kill an Echo. They might be trying to predict Moshi's pick on that Pharah, but we'll have to see how this pans out.
Yeah, and just Achilles and Cheng just both being able to put out that much damage as well is really making this game more interesting, more challenging to predict what is going to happen, because a pick can fall from everybody anytime.
Yeah, but again, we see ReVamp on that classic comfort comp. They love to play so far. And Ashi already going into the same position he is background. Ruben trying to check him, trying to see if he can get some sticky bombs on through a lot of damage.
But again,
falls low.
Maybe he even dies there, but that just forced Ruben away to give ReVamp's Pharah more space.
Yeah, and now allows ReVamp to push in, but Kevcool falls to Ruben's sticky bombs.
Polysoft being really low, managed to save himself. Still trading, is low, but manages to stay alive due to Cheng's support.
Yeah, now we see ReVamp kind of split with Achilles and Derich up on the high ground, and the rest of the team in main, and Ashi just trying to roll around the back and see if he can get anything. Pharah is now in. They're getting focused down by Secret. Can he hit the accretion rock? No, but this is still getting so close right now. We now see Ashi getting rid of the immortality, and Danrich finds Polysoft.
Danrich finds Polysoft in this fight, but as well, Ashi's just rolling around the backline, displacing Cheng. Manages to get 2 kills together with Achilles and Ruben. And now it's just ReVamp cleaning up.
Yeah, I feel like what happened to Crimson is they just split too much. They were constantly being attacked from so many different angles. You had Ashi coming in from one side, then you had Moshi from the high ground, and they just had to split somehow, and that just allowed them to ReVamp to pick up individual targets and get that win.
But also, great job from Ashi, just actively splitting the team.
Actively, yeah. Now we're coming into a final fight territory. They do have ults, but I don't know how much they'll be able to do. Minefield, I think, comes out onto point from Ashi, and Moshi trying to spam down the enemy bounties. He does force out Immortality Field, and he gets to pick up the Chegg.
Transcendence is coming out, and now it just looks like Ashi is just cleaning up the kills that are remaining, getting the slam, and that should be the capture for ReVamp.
They do get a duplicate onto the Wrecking Ball, but they're being forced off point. Echo solo, Echo reduced back to their old form. There's an immortality on point. I don't think it can hold. Polysoft managed to find a kill. Secret.
It looks like Crimson Ruby again manages to miraculously restabilize. Ashi's still being in, still trying to get out as much damage as he can. But look at this little bit of point that is still missing. And Crimson Ruby managed to restabilize.
Somehow Crimson Ruby holds on to that. It was Hollysop in secret coming back on a Wrecking Ball and a Doomfist, managing to out of nowhere just magically conjure up some picks that allowed them to restabilize around them to somehow hold on to it. Look at that, 95.7% captured by ReVamp. This is going to be close.
Yeah, if they now manage to get over those 95.7%, Crimson Ruby and ReVamp are taking us into round 5 of this final.
They do. Crimson Ruby does have more time available than ReVamp did, but I don't know if they'll be able to do it. I feel like ReVamp is a bit weaker on their defense, but we're gonna have to see. So far, it looks like.
But again, for ReVamp, both attacks played out pretty similarly. And if now again, this attack plays out similarly than the first one of Crimson Ruby are taking this home with them.
I don't know about that, though. Remember, first time Crimson Ruby tried this Sim TP strat, ReVamp had an answer to it, and now with that Pharah as well, that's going to be really brutal against that Mei. So I feel like ReVamp can still win this, even though they have to deal with someone with more time. They had such an excellent attack that they might be able to do this here.
Mr. Observer, could we get a few on Hollysop on this Symmetra? This TP placement will be vital for the rest of this game.
I guess they try
We
the TP
get it,
here.
we get it, we get it. The TP
But
goes
Ashi!
in, but they don't commit. Ashi getting 2 picks, getting out Ruben, Cheng, and Random, and now Muchi just being able to fill up. And now the people that have TP'd through are just split from the rest of their team.
And easy pickings for ReVamp there, and that's exactly what I said. The Pharah, when you have an enemy team that's just grouped up around that TP, they just spam in rockets, and then Ashi rolls in, gets the slam. He's at 60% ult charge already. That is insane. And look at Mochi as well on the Pharah, 54. They've just done so much damage in that one singular fight due to how the enemy team had placed themselves. They now switch off the Sim, going for a McCree and a Tracer.
Yeah, this dynamite hits big, already trickling down the damage.
Achilles.
And Achilles getting a pick onto Hollysop.
Achilles might be my new favorite player. He does get countered by Ruben. Damage does manage to get rid of the immortality field. Arez does come out. Achilles is back in the fight. Ruben cannot deal with that. And Crimson is on the high ground, looking to see if they can find a point. But they just can't seem to get to the position they need to be. Rotating all the way around. They're now on point. Now ReVamp has to go into a brawl comp on point. But a big dynamite, and Machu Picchu falls.
Machu Picchu falls, but Hollysop and Cheng answering. Muchi getting the boop off on Cheng, but Ruben's still in there, getting Muchi. Achilles as well being able to put down the damage to take out Hollysop, but at the moment, it's still being contested.
Transcendence comes out, though. That's a ton of healing out for ReVamp. That's going to really help them stay on to this. Ashi gets killed for random. Ruben still someone trying to get guess. He kills Achilles, but Danrich answers on the secret. The Rhine is back, charging in, doesn't find anything. 60 seconds left. Who will come out victorious in this final fight?
Yeah, we see Ashi still in there with the mines, getting down the shields, bursting down Machu Picchu. And I feel like this could be it. This could be the Ashi that ReVamp needed to turn the series back around.
Yeah, I don't know if Crimson Ruby can re-engage into this. They have 30 seconds. They are going for a quick reset. They've regrouped. They might be able to still get the point in touch, but they do have to go into a Sigma ult, a Bob, and an enemy Valkyrie with not much at their disposal. It's really going to depend on who can maybe get an early pick, who can chase this fight in their favor. There comes the Sigma ult.
Sigma ult catches a lot of people. Muchi already picking out a Cheng. You see the Guardian Angel coming through, and Muchi just being able to do so much damage. Kefku with the Bob, but you also see Secret throwing in his Diva Bomb, not getting too much value. And I think this is it, ladies and gentlemen. ReVamp won this final.
Yeah, ReVamp there with the clean win at the end. Hard fought, but somehow they managed to clutch it out at the end. Muchi with those supreme kills on that Pharah with the support, and we see Ashi's play of the game. Well deserved. He did great. on ball.
Yeah, I feel like Ashi is the player that turned the series back around. Already on Li Jiang, with the shatter that he got the play of the game for, he was like the first spark of hope. But then when he got onto this ball, when he was confident, he actually managed to produce so much value.
Yeah, we really saw ReVamp when they were on that comfort comp. They were unstoppable. They had the momentum, they had the talent, they had just the pure skill to somehow win that out.
Yeah, and I'd love to get Ashi quickly up here for a post-game interview, which we're currently trying to organize. But as well, that victory was unexpected to me.
No, same. I did not expect that at all.
Yeah, especially because of the hard prediction from Ruben that we heard before. But right now, I feel like um, we are just going to get Ashi up here, hopefully. Hopefully. But in the meantime, what made ReVamp win the series?
Again, I feel like it was their ability to run that comp. And the fact that Crimson Ruby, no matter how hard they tried, they couldn't get an answer to it.
Yeah, we have Ashi now here in our channel. Quickly need to get him the rights to speak, I believe.
The right to speak? Ashi, he deserves it after that performance. I mean, there we go.
Oh, there is Ashi. So we're currently waiting on our Discord team to get the audio of Ashi, and then we can start with this post-game interview.
Excited to see how he feels after winning the first ever Project Chaos tournament. That's kind of a cool achievement, I guess.
So right now we're coming up on the audio from Ashi. Ashi, how are you doing?
How much caffeine is running through your body right now?
But we really saw you pop off on that wrecking ball, and
okay. He filled out the MTD. Okay.
And quickly, when we're already BMing players, what is your answer to Ruben's prediction of 3-0 in the first post-game interview?
So, I mean, yeah, that's what I'd like to talk about. So do you really feel like the difference came when you were able to run that comp that you seemed so comfortable with? Oh, that's fine. We'll just wait then for the audio problems to get fixed.
We'll just wait for the audio promise and then go on. No, I feel like that was the main difference. Really, Ashi and his tank partner being able to make that space for the rest of his team comp being effective.
Yeah, definitely. That was what changed the fight in their favor, and once they could finally run comps they felt confident in and weren't forced into running that brawl that you have to basically see on control point, like he already said.
Yeah, so now should the audio be working? I hope.
Question mark?
I hope.
Evidently not, says production. Oh well.
God damn.
Yeah, we're just quickly trying to fix this, I guess. And what? It's working.
Wonderful.
Great. Then you can ask your question again.
Finally, I'm gonna ask my question again. Do you feel like your basically your winning streak, your confidence came from when you were finally able to run that comp that you seemingly practiced a lot? So you need the warp. But is that a comp that you have as a team have played in the past? Ah, okay, interesting.
Yeah, generally the series was amazing. A great level of play coming out from both of your teams. And you yourself, what would you say can you do better the next time you're attending? Is there anything that you can actually improve in?
Yeah, that's kind of been the story of this whole production, Ashi. That's all you really need to know. Basically, the whole time we've been trying to set this up, it's been either it works or it doesn't, and that changes every other second.
Yes, but sadly,
Oh, well.
sadly, we cannot finish this post-game interview. But congratulations to you and your team for winning the first iteration of the Project Chaos Tournament Series. Can we expect you to come back? Okay, so we're gonna try to convince Ben to get you to come back. But thank you very much for coming up here, and congratulations on your victory. So that was the Project Chaos Tournament Series. Quickly to go back over the results of this tournament. In first place, we obviously have Team ReVamp. Then a well-deserved second place coming out from Crimson Ruby, and then Sally, both of the teams that fell or like got kicked out in the first game. Well-deserved shout out as well to our home team Project Chaos and the Sixers.
Yeah, and we really can't wait to maybe see some of these teams again, because we are planning on hosting more tournaments, not only in Overwatch and other games as well, but if we do more Overwatch tournaments, we really would love to see teams we've already seen play again.
Yes, and that's what I wanted to get to anyways. If you think that you are able to play at such a level, or even below that, if you think you would enjoy playing in a tournament settings, go to our Challenger mode space that is linked in our Twitch's description. There you can sign up, and there you will be informed if we ever decide to host another tournament. Thank you to everybody who was watching. My name is Pride.
I'm Samwise Genji.
And I hope that we can see you again another time.